And we're up.
Oh,
Awooga.
Awooga.
I was half expecting special delivery Finn to give us a nya.
Yeah.
I mean, the night's still young.
That was the most soulless nya I've ever. That was just like,
Yeah, that was a. If I can coin the
Listen,
phrase,
my man, I'm
mirthless
running on
nya, that's
2
what that
hours of
was.
sleep, and I don't have caffeine, so...
That was, I've been working at a cat cafe for 20 years, and I'm done with this shit kind of nya.
Yeah, I was going to say, that is the
Sounds about right.
nya right there.
It's the nya of somebody who's been asked to nya too many times. One too many.
I may have to ask y'all to repeat yourselves sometimes, because there's metalworking going on somewhere back there.
That's no problem.
Okay, it's cool.
If there's anything we've learned about playing D&D, especially over Discord, it's that there will be do-overs, there will be slip-ups, I will have my pants off. They are currently off. I am playing with my dick. Anyway.
Oh my god.
Okay, well,
So,
fine.
So hello everybody. I, of course, am your Dungeon Master Connor Man. With me, as always, is Ethan, Sophie, Vinn, and Finn, and with us is a new member of the Shepherds and the Dice Dogs, that being Special Delivery Finn. Say hello.
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 We call him Special Delivery Finn because both of the Finns have their names spelled the same way, and I didn't know how to deal with that, so Special Delivery Finn it is.
How else would we spell it?
I will call you
F with one N?
Y-N-N?
A P and an H.
F-I-N?
Phineas.
Phineas?
Wait, I want to be P-H-I-N. It's cute. It's kind of fierce.
Hang on, look, I want to ask you guys a question.
It works.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to ask you guys a question. What does that say?
Uh-huh.
What does that say?
Do.
Okay, all right. Now, what does the one below it say?
Two.
Okay, all right. So what the fuck is that?
So. That's so. That's a so. Or a badly done 50. I don't know. Either one. So what is
Ethan.
it?
I will.
He's just upset that the rules of vowels in English are as bad as they are. They are really bad compared to every other language.
There and there. You're gonna lose your fucking shit.
I've been getting into hostage taking now, but I've been worried about like pride representation during
like
hostage
as a casual
taking.
hobby.
So I got some rainbow duct tape, you know, for when I.
Are you following some cool? You following some cool like zip tie Pinterests and shit? Oh my god!
Do you ask them before you tie them up? You're like, okay, how do you identify?
Yeah, but not if they're not ready to come out. You can't just do that to someone.
Yeah, that is
not cool.
You can have that intimate moment, and they can let you know. They can tell you how they want to identify.
Do you want the rainbow tape or the regular tape?
It's a little bit problematic of you.
That's my
not
favorite.
Afraid to say.
That's my favorite trope in heist movies, where the guy like shoots the gun in the air and he's like, "All right, before we get started, does anybody here have a heart condition? Because you can go. You can live."
You can go.
All right. So, before we get started today, does anybody have any housekeeping, any announcements they'd like to make?
It's been 3 weeks.
Housekeeping.
3 weeks for me, and I'm ready.
She is foaming at the mouth.
Oh my god.
M had something to say.
M had something to say, and say it quick before I think Sophie eats the camera.
I have something to show.
Oh, let's see it.
No, it is me. I have Milo.
It's Milo!
It's him!
Milo!
He's tiny.
What a good boy. Oh,
it's funny that you think Nilo's gonna survive the campaign. Anyway.
That's literally, that's insane. I was talking to her about that. She's like,
kill him.
Anyway, I will now be physically role-playing him whenever he doesn't attack us.
That's so good, thank you.
Okay.
That's really a blessing.
All right. Do we have any other announcements to go?
I'm outside.
Outside? What's that like?
Outside.
It's really nice. I'm on vacation.
Ooh.
Not a huge fan of you guys perpetuating the idea that D&D players don't go outside. Granted, I burn in 60-degree heat, so I don't, but still.
I mean, I don't go outside. There's no stereotype here, Mama. That's just the truth.
Yep. What is this
God's
outside
truth.
you speak of?
Did you just call me
I'm
Mama?
on a porch.
There's no
You guys want to
stereotype
see?
here.
God,
This is true.
the light.
The light. Yeah, I was gonna ask. I was gonna ask, from the pictures that you guys sent me, does Avery live in a fucking... Do you guys live in a goddamn, like, elf
I think
house? What is that?
in a witch's hut in the woods. Yeah,
Exactly.
it does seem to be the case.
Technically, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
If you find any weird cauldrons in the basement, just don't remove them from the house.
I already saw a ghost cat. We're all good.
Okay.
Oh, and they do have a secret pit in the kitchen underneath the moving island that I'm going to explore later.
Cool.
Ooh, that's fun.
And that's the end of Daring Kolbavar.
No, that's where he lives. You'll find him.
We will now introduce the new character, Curran Kolbavar.
No, if Dhuur'in dies, I'm playing Revik.
Oh, right.
No.
Right. What, we call him the backup twink. Anyway, so...
He is the backup twink.
I mean, Fenkin is already here.
Extra. I'm the one on the bench.
All right. So...
I'm a benchkin.
Benchkin.
That for him.
Oh, this D&D group was a mistake. Anyway.
No.
Now, without any further ado, let's play some D&D.
Yeah.
All right.
Wait, I have to open my character sheet. Hold on.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah, I should probably do that too.
Well-oiled machine, everybody.
Listen, this is my first episode, full episode here. I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, Matt
You have
Mercer's
to cut Finn
quaking
some
in
slack.
his boots.
I don't know what I'm
Again.
doing.
We all saw that video of him giving himself a paper cut on the nose. He's not infallible. Neither are we.
The god of ours.
I feel like if Matt Mercer ever gives us a call, it's going to be out of pity, not out of any admiration for our show.
I don't
Stop. Just stop, please.
Just stop. Anyway.
It's gonna be a cease and desist. Yeah. Like you're not stepping on my territory. This isn't a copyright thing. I just need you to stop.
You're just not based anymore. You're only cringe.
Okay? On behalf of the interests of the people in this world that like D&D, I need you to stop. And I'll be like, okay.
All right.
And that's when we'll start playing Pathfinder.
I will skin you
alive,
and I will wear your face on my face and see how long it takes your loved ones to tell that it's not actually you.
Well, I mean, considering you're white and I'm brown, I think that's a pretty easy thing to figure out.
He'll have a really good matching foundation. If you just blend on your neck seam, they'll never know.
No.
Connor, are you gonna do blackface?
Connor, are you doing blackface?
No, it was the last word I've
In the most literal sense.
Let's move on.
I mean, you're also taller than me, so I mean, there's that. But it's
anyway.
When Vinn says, let's move on, it's serious.
I'm sorry. I just keep thinking about someone cosplaying Dhuur'in and just unabashedly doing blackface.
Oh no, never.
No. Saying it now. If we ever get some kind of fandom, no blackface paint for Dhuur'in. You must wear a morph suit or you just use your regular old skin and make your eyes glow somehow. No black paint. No. Unless you're already black, in which you're fine.
I love we got that issue sorted out. Nice and tidy.
All right, moving on.
I often ask when I lost control. I don't know where I lost control of the situation. I don't think I ever had control.
Once again, I don't know why you ever had control.
You're the one that said
Never
you
had control.
When we last left off, we were picked up by a Baba Yaga hut.
I have an introduction written, Ben!
Well, I'm doing the recap.
Well, you don't get a recap.
Yeah, let him do the recap.
Okay, fine.
Right.
Fine, do a recap. I gotta get my books.
All right, well, we were
well-oiled machine.
in the witch's hut, and all of a sudden we heard some rumbling, so we all fucking booked it. And then a Baba Yaga hut.
You're just gonna skip over the sword, huh?
Oh yeah, we found Craven Edge.
Sword.
Important.
No big fucking deal. Craven Edge. Yeah, whatever. The sword nearly possessed Gesh, so Dhuur'in took it and said, "Fuck y'all, I can handle this," and nobody believed him, which is fine, I guess. And then a Baba Yaga hut came and smashed the witch's hut, and then happily invited us in to where we did not trust it whatsoever. There were a whole load of wonders inside and lots of wank material for our characters. It was tailored specifically to us for some strange reason. Don't know why. And then we met Kira, which is Finn's character, down in a little workshop. Found out that he was a little artificer boy who was also trying to get out of the Feywilds. Apparently they had been on their way to Bumblebee.
On the way
We
to
were on our
Bumblebee?
way to the Wound of the World.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, we were on our way to the Wound of the World. We were only a couple days away from it, and Balthasar has requested of us, in return for taking us to the Wound of the World, to kill a man in Midnight Clad, and that was where we left the last game.
You have done us a service, Mr. Bond.
You also failed to mention that Balthasar is 9 feet tall.
Oh yes, Balthasar is 9 feet.
That's 3 Ozlas stacked on top of each other.
Or 6 Sophies.
Oh,
I don't know if that math doesn't. Okay.
But Sophie is 6, so.
All right.
He's got you there.
Where we last left off, Balthasar the Fey-touched Furbolg revealed unto the shepherds that there is indeed a way out of the Feywild and back into the world they know as Exandria. The World Wound, a vast tear in the fabric of reality where wild magics and strange creatures leak through the other realm, is their only hope of escape, without having to make contact with the elven delegations of this odd and predatory domain. Luckily for them, Balthasar is a man of adventure, boisterous and loud, and has agreed to bring you all to his natural portal, with only one request. That when you reunite with the world that you know as home, you bring death to the man in Midnight Clad. He has promised to explain further, but for now, he has patrons to attend to, and there is a night of revelry and sleep to be had. For even in the Feywild is drowning in danger, the long legs of the traveling tavern of the Titan's Toe stand far above the safety of the heavens. You may rest easy, and take the night to recover from your bout with the mad hag Isham, a moment's respite after a tide of chaos. So, after introducing yourselves to your fellow traveler Kira, the half-Tabaxi artificer, and after promising to explain himself further come morning, Balthasar has released you to enjoy the evening, be it by sleep, drink, or time spent among your comrades. So we pick up about 10 minutes after meeting Kira, and you all leave the workshop with a gift in your hands. Each of you has been given a key to a room somewhere in the tavern. Balthasar has assured you that these are your room keys, and that you might find that your rooms are a bit especially tailored to your individual tastes and needs. But as it stands, as you leave Balthasar to his work, kind of tidying up Kira's workshop for him, and make your way back upstairs to the tavern with a still very drunk Fenkin kind of tossed over Gesh's back, You make your way back up towards the tavern proper, into the room where there's plenty of food and drink to be had, and all the strange denizens of the Titan's Toe are going about their night. So, what's everybody doing?
I would like to say I do want it to be known that when they got those keys, there was a moment in which, like, Nox, like, took the key and looked at it, and then looked at the Firbolg with a very, very threatening glare, and took out her knife and pointed it at him and said, "If this key takes me anywhere except for an inn's room, I will have your tongue. You understand?" And then she left, and she's done.
Balthasar grinned when you did that, and slowly plucked the knife from your fingers.
Oh my god.
Reached into his mouth, pulled out his tongue, and stretched it, and stretched it, and stretched it, and then suddenly, flash, cut it off. But there was no blood, because it was a piece of chewing gum.
Chewing gum
This is freak. Alright. Freak rights. That's terrifying. She hated that. I hated that.
So as Nox runs up the stairs, Balthasar's sitting there with the cut gum in his hand and the knife, and he's like, the kids love that trick.
She did not like it. You saw her ears just...
Alright. So, with your new companion in tow, you guys make your way up the stairs and into the tavern. And the mood at the tavern seems to be generally pretty light. Things have calmed down a little bit. The wild music has toned down to something a bit quieter as the day gives way to the evening. A roaring fire has been lit in the center of the room, kind of amidst a row of stones to create an indoor bonfire, from which the smoke leaves through a big iron tube at the very top, giving off that multicolored smoke that you were seeing when you first entered the Titan's Toe. And of course, there are still many patrons, but again, they have calmed down. There's less dancing and more quiet eating and conversation. The scholarly bear that you saw at the very beginning, at the very end of the last game, who was kind of eating to himself, seems to have taken up a piece of slate and is now giving an impromptu lecture on the nature of arcanistics within the Feywild to a group of very bored-looking dwarves. There's a bard on the corner stage, kind of nearest the bar, who seems to have like very short cropped hair with kind of like a goatee on his chin, pale skin somewhat, with reddish brown hair, and he's just slowly playing a lute and very quietly singing to himself as you guys enter, and all the while waiters of every shape and size are bringing food and pouring drinks. All of them very flashily dressed, all of them multicolored in different hues. There's summer elves and fairies of the Unseelie courts of winter going about their work. But yeah, there's also an empty table for you guys to take a seat at, and yeah, so there's plenty of stuff for you guys to do.
So we each got our own individual room key?
Yes. Each key that you guys have been given is a different looking shaped key. Gesh, for example, the key that you received is made of cut steel, and it seems to be like one flat piece. Dhuur'in, the key you were given is kind of like an old cowboy style iron key that's kind of like big and it's got that round bit at the end. They're all different shapes.
Cowboy.
So the first thing Gesh is gonna do is he's gonna go over to the empty table and plop Fenkin down on one of the chairs and just leave him there to, get over his drunken stupor.
So raw.
Fenkin, as Gesh like plants you into the chair, Nilo's going to come up and like sit down next to you and like kind of cock his head at you before like resting his chin on the table and closing his eyes, kind of like cats do.
Poor thing. He's still passed out.
Give me a. You know what? Give me a Constitution check. Give me a Constitution check.
Okay. Okay. 10.
You've tapered off a little bit. Like you're definitely not sober, but you have clarity. You are able to tell what's going on around you as like you kind of begin to wake up, and the effects of whatever brew you'd been dunked into is sort of starting to wear away to the point where you can hold a conversation and hopefully walk and not piss yourself.
I hope so.
Yeah, okay, so he sort of comes to it a little bit when he's placed down on a very uncomfortable wooden chair, and he's just sort of like, ooh. And he seems very out of it, like he is aware what's going on, but he also doesn't fully understand it, so he just kind of sits there and looks out of it for a while.
Oh,
Poor thing.
poor guy.
Doesn't know where he is, doesn't know what's happening. Oh, it sounds like me at high school.
I would like to go and pull on Gesh's sleeve to get his attention.
All right.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, Gesh just looks over and just, well.
I want to talk to you alone.
All right.
And I hold up my weird room key.
Yes, I got one too.
Okay.
Will you come with
me?
No.
Outside then?
Fine.
And I start walking to the exit of the tavern. All right.
Gesh just luckily follows.
So leaving everyone else behind to kind of tend to Fenkin as he starts to wake up, you through the shadowy seal that makes up the doorway into the Titan's Toe and step out onto the porch, where you can feel even more outside the lurch and the pitch, the to and fro of the Titan's Toe as its large chicken legs carry it across the land, covering miles in single seconds as its stride carries it across the forest. You're able to peer across the pines and see into the night, which is beautiful in the Feywild. Glittering galactic dust hangs like smoke in the air, and 3 moons blink down at you, each one in different stages of waxing and waning. As Dhuur'in leans against the fence, contemplates for a minute, and then speaks.
Do you recall the night I asked for your trust?
I knew that's what he was going to say.
Yes.
That evening, I dreamed of killing all of you, and it terrified me. And I feel as though it was wrong and selfish of me to ask for your trust after such a thing. And since that battle, and I saw the head of my spear pierce through what looked like your chest, I feel as though I've severed something.
If only you were so perceptive with everything else in your life.
I'm sorry. There are many things that I don't understand.
Clearly.
I did not know until only the other evening that you wanted anything else out of me.
But, so you were just ignorant, then? You didn't realize? I wasn't doing this just for the... I wasn't doing this just for the night. I was doing this because companionship of any kind is hard to find. And finding it in you was... It was something I wanted. But you didn't want the same?
I didn't know. I've never known anything beyond giving. You said you wanted to understand me. There is not much to understand. I am very little. I do not know much.
I think you're underestimating yourself.
I don't. But if there is anything more that I can give you, you need only tell me.
At this moment, Gesh, some movement catches the corner of your eye. You turn your head and see at the other end of the porch, on one of the fences, two birds have landed. One, a very small black crow. The other, a large blue jay. The crow has been made wet by rain. It's shivering and cold. Its feathers are mismatched and ruffled. The blue jay covers it with a single wing, pulls it closer, and with its beak begins to smooth out its feathers.
Okay. Did I see the birds?
No, this is only what Gesh saw.
Gesh is just gonna... he sees out the corner of his eye, but then he goes back to looking at Dhuur'in. It's not about... It's not about just giving. It's about... But when I said I will trust for the both of us. And I can keep doing that. But I want you to trust me, if that's something you can do.
I do. And I have.
And When you threw that spear with no regards, I thought you didn't care. I thought you didn't care whether I lived or died. I thought you didn't care about whatever this is. And I suppose I've just been stupid not to realize that you didn't know better, or you didn't. I don't know.
No, I was afraid, and I was angry for the things that witch said to you. I didn't know what else to do. She needed to die.
And you were willing to see me dead? Just for that?
I didn't want to hurt you.
And you failed. Just...
I hug him.
Oh.
Very abruptly. And into his chest I say, I'm sorry.
That's just sort of... He's like thinking about whether he should reciprocate it, but he just sort of pats Dhuur'in on the back a little bit and just leaves it.
The stars are strange in the Feywild, like most things. Often they are not right. Often are they ever changing like the seasons. However, there are, like our world, constellations that hang in the blue-gray sky. And only once every few thousand years do certain constellations align. Like Veliamos, the blue dragon constellation, and Sikatha, the spider constellation. And as they interlock in the sky, unbeknownst to the two fellows beneath them, the stars glitter and the moons wink as we make our way back into the tavern. So, while this is going on outside, we have Fenkin, Nox, Kira, Vinn, and Ozla at the table.
Vinn is there.
Vinn is there?
Vinn is
Sorry.
there.
Oh my god.
He's through the world's wounds, and he's just there now.
He's not losers. You can't kill me.
I meant.
I slap Fenkin on the ass.
Roll Constitution.
I meant Nox.
Using your real earthly constitution.
I meant Nox, Kira, Ozla, and Fenkin.
Twice. Kira? Oh my god.
So, Kira, this is your first time meeting this group, and your first impression of Fenkin is that he seems to be something of a heavy drinker. Perhaps someone who, or at least somebody who can't really hold his liquor all that very well. And Fenkin, as your vision kind of comes back into alignment, you see Nox, Ozla, and a strange half Nox sort of staring at you.
He leans a little closer and squints at this stranger as if he can't really see them properly. His eyes are blurry and he's like, "Who are you?"
Kira, first he kind of ignores Fenkin and looks over at the other two. Is he always like this? Is he okay?
My brain broke.
Oh.
she sort of like laughs a little bit and she pats Finn on the back, just like, come on, get one out, mate. He's not really like this. He's been a bit down lately, you know, being in the Feywild. A drink.
Well, he looks back at Fenkin. He's just, well, I'm Kira. I don't know if you're gonna remember that, but
The fuck is a Kira?
Kira just settles down in one of the chairs and just, all right, I'm just gonna get back to what I was doing. He just goes back to working on his gauntlet.
So
hey, don't ignore me, you punk.
So Kira, as you sit down and like take up your gauntlet to start like tightening screws, you pause and then like slowly look over, and Nilo is like sitting next to you, staring you dead in the face. Not baring his teeth, but like cocking his head, and he leans in and does that cat sniff where the nose goes.
Can I help you? What's this one's name?
That's Finn's pet, Nilo.
Kira just kind of nods and looks at Ozla. Well, is he always like this?
Yeah, he doesn't like people.
And Kira, I would like you to make an athletics check as Nilo slowly gets up onto your lap and starts to like curl into your lap as 250 pounds of panther muscle sort of just settles in onto you.
No. Is this an athletics check to get him off, or is this an athletics check to not
make sure I can handle it?
This is an athletics check to make sure that
check to survive.
This is an athletics check to survive.
See if your leg bones don't break.
My poor cat toes. You're gonna probably have to explain to me how to do this, because again, never done this before.
That's no problem.
Yeah.
So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take a D20 and you're gonna roll.
Got it.
And whatever comes up, you add your athletics bonus. Now your athletics, that's under your skills. It should be like the first one, or at least under Arcana.
It's all right. +1.
Yeah.
Yes.
So already not great.
You never know. Could be a good roll.
Kira gets a 21.
17, so
17.
+1.
Okay.
Yes.
So while that would normally be able to push a regular cat off of your lap, this is Nilo we're talking about. And so you just kind of, as soon as Nilo starts getting up onto the chair, making it creak under you, you just start like trying to push him away, but it's not really doing anything. You do get him like kind of close to almost being shoved off before he finally kind of leans back on you, and you're just kind of like.
He's like, all right, I guess this is my life now.
Fenkin starts to laugh. He's like,
because he does like people.
A little too much, if you ask me.
He's just friendly when he wants to be. He ends up licking Finn's face when he sleeps. Do you want to feed him?
I think I'll pass.
Oh, okay. Yeah, fuck. What the fuck? Whoa!
It's been a couple of weeks. It can be hard to get back into character.
Like, it's been 3 weeks. Who the fuck is she? Oh my god.
Luckily, at this time, a waitress comes by in a very lacy yellow dress. Her skin is dark umber and her eyes are bright green, with her hair kind of like tied back in a long ponytail. And she kind of saddles up to the table with a writing pad in hand as well as a quill, and she's like, "Hello. I'm glad to see everybody's settling in. Can I get anybody anything to drink, something to eat?"
You have vodka?
Vodka, yes, we have that.
this much.
I'll see what we can do. As she kind of like looks you up and down, as if kind of like trying to do the math about how much vodka that is, and also how slim your frame is. But she
skinny cat.
Yeah, but she writes that down and then looks at Ozla. And for you, miss?
Do you have any shimmer stout?
Shimmer stout. I can see if the bartender can make something similar to that.
No, I want the real thing. Just get me any kind of beer that you've got, and can you get a water, like a gallon for this one, please?
For which one? Oh dear! And she looks at Fenkin.
Oh.
Yeah, you got a bit too excited when you came.
Boy.
I see. Do you want anything, ma'am?
Did she refer to Fenkin?
Yes.
Oh my god!
I knew it. He doesn't respond at first, but then he like looks her over and he's like, "Who the fuck are you?"
I slapped that hand over his mouth. He
My
didn't
name's...
mean free.
It's quite all right. It's quite all right. I've been working here for quite a while. I'm Shinara. I'm Mr. Balthasar's wife.
Oh,
Aww.
Hope dreams just crushed.
Oh,
Kira's just got a mouthful of cat hair right now.
Oof.
I did forget to mention she's an elf. She got like pointy. She got pointy ears.
Of course.
Well, that's not good.
That's something, I guess.
Winks at her, and then looks at her ears, and then looks at her again. I don't like you.
Ben, stop! You're gonna get hit. I swear to God.
It's quite all right,
He doesn't
dear.
mean...
It's quite all right, dear. I've had customers say much worse things, much more sober.
Oh. Poor thing.
I deal with that.
Right then, I'll get some drinks on the docket, and Balthasar did say that you want something to eat. We're going to go ahead and waive the price for that, so you'll only need to pay for the drinks.
Brilliant, thank you.
Excellent. That'll be out in a few minutes. I'll be right back. And she turns to leave. After that happens, though, Ozla, while Nox and Fenkin, while Nox and Kira kind of like work together to try to get Fenkin into a state of politeness, I think we'll call it. There's a strumming that catches your ear, the strumming of a lute. And a somewhat lighter voice begins to sing a song that you recognize. And as you look over into the corner, you see the bard sitting there. He has on what seems to be a green tunic over leather armor, with kind of like tannish slacks and pointed boots as he strums his mandolin. Again, he has a goatee and very short hair, and very pale skin. And as he sings, the notes speak to you in a way. And the song is very reminiscent of something you heard as a child. Ukatoa, Ukatoa, keep him locked away. Upon a sea that's tossed and grey, we try to keep the dreams at bay. For in our sleep we hope for peace, lest the nightmares have our way. Ukatoa, Ukatoa, keep him locked away. And as he ends that verse, his strumming kind of stops, and he looks up at you, and he smiles, and he says, "Oh, you recognize that one, don't you? It's a good one."
Unfortunately, mate. Where did you learn that one?
Come over here, take a seat. I'll tell you a tale.
She walks over and she plops down.
Alright. He kind of like adjusts himself in his chair, and as you get closer, you can see that he's got kind of a youthful looking face, but there's clearly something like old in his eyes, almost something experienced. He looks like a traveler. He's got a long staff kind of strapped to his back, along with a backpack with a bedroll on it. But his clothes are rather nice. You can tell that this is a bard of some kind, and a very practiced one at that. And while kind of like tuning his mandolin, he says, "I've been on the road for a while. I've just traveled from town to town. Eventually found my way here, and I've seen a few things, picked up a few songs. It's this one I heard in a place called Port Damali. It's one of my favorites at this point. I just heard it once and I can't get it out of my head. That's the funny things about songs, isn't it? You can study something for all your life and still forget bits and pieces about it, but you hear a song once, and the words just stick in your head." I'm sorry, I'm being rude. I didn't even ask your name.
It's Ozla. You heard in Port Damali?
I did, yeah.
That means you've been back to Exandria.
Oh, I've been all over the place, love.
How did you get around Exandria?
Oh, the classic way. Sometimes I walked, sometimes I took a horse. Sometimes I got inside a tavern that walked on 2 legs.
Did you ever sail, mate?
One more time.
Did you ever sail?
Don't really like the water. I like the beach, but don't really like the open sea.
You and I are very different people then.
I can tell. I didn't want to assume just based on clothing, but you definitely got the smell of a sailor on you. You do a lot of that, sailing?
I used to. Not since I've been traveling with my friends recently.
That's nice.
That might be dirty though, if you can smell.
It's nice to hear you got friends. You hang on to them, all right? Sometimes it's some people grow up with a lot of friends all around them, But there are people who just kind of grow up lonely. They think there's nobody really out there for them. But then they start to make choices. Are you a choice maker, Miss Ozla?
I'd like to think I am.
All right. And he kind of looks you up and down and smiles, and he says, Yeah, you are, aren't you? If that's the case, maybe you'd be up for a little game.
A game?
Songs aren't the only thing I picked up in Port Damali. I also learned a little card game called High Tide.
Oh, I know High Tide.
I don't think you know this version. So, let me show you how to play. And you watch as his hand goes to his belt, and he takes out what appears to be kind of like a rectangular leather case, about the size of your palm. And from it, he draws 3 cards. And he holds them up. And he says, the game's real easy. You just pick one of these cards, and I use it to tell your fortune.
Can I? Learning from Vinn, can I insight check this motherfucker?
Please, for God's sake, please! Good, yes, very good, yes, thank you!
Oh my god.
Nox's voice rings out in the back of your head. Trust no one.
Fucking Vinn said, like, I insight checked her. Will remember. Oh my god. Let me fucking zoom in. What's my insight? Is it -1? Oh, this ain't gonna go.
You're -1?
No. Yeah, and that's it was 11, so it's 10. I can't tell shit.
You know there is a
Well, at least
person
you
standing in
tried.
front of you.
You tried. That's worth something.
So Ozla, life as a pirate, and both as a pirate and adventurer, you've been lied to plenty of times, and you've learned how to like kind of see through when somebody's like being dishonest, or kind of just to get a general vibe off somebody. And while this guy is giving off kind of like a strange feeling, he doesn't seem like a liar. He doesn't. If anything, he just kind of seems sad, lonely in a way. But in this moment, there's a warmth, as if talking to you has brought something of a light.
Oh, so doesn't make me cry.
So he holds up his cards and he says, "So what's it gonna be?"
She's very she hesitates it, and then she leans forward and she picks up the. Trying to think of the one right in front of the camera.
All right. He puts the other cards away and looks at the card that you chose.
Oh no.
What did I get?
It's Miss Highhill, right?
Jim.
Excuse me?
That's Miss Highhill, right? That's your last name?
It might be. How do you know that?
Highhill. Highhill. Yeah. I think that'll make for a great story. And he holds out the card, reveals the key, and you watch as the card begins to burn from the corner, a blue flame sparks up and consumes the card, and you watch as it slowly consumes him as well, not burning him to a skeleton, but as if making him disappear wherever the flames touch. And soon, all that is left is his face in the air, which the fire slowly consumes. But before he does, he smiles, he winks, and he says, "In another world, baby. In another world." And he vanishes. And at that moment, Ozla, another voice in your head. This time in a language you don't recognize.
No.
Dov Hazul Hakara Zul Pyre Maul. And finally, you feel it. The heat in your hands. It starts as what feels like a little pocket warmer in your hand, almost like you're holding a candle. But then hotter and hotter and hotter, hotter than the end of the world. Nox, Kira, Fenkin, an orange glow catches your eye as you turn around to see Ozla Highhill engulfed in orange flames that are tipped with gold.
She's fucking dead.
Ozla, I want you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Gets up and stumbles and falls.
Oh god, oh no, oh fuck.
This isn't really related, but can I just say really quickly, Connor, how disarming it is for you to do an NPC voice in your normal accent? That was the scariest thing I've ever heard.
Connor, isn't it?
Hey,
Connor's just being like, hey, watch your mouth.
Was Connor.
Why do you think the NPC looked like me?
It did?
You already put in a character to romance your girlfriend. You did that already. It's not our fault that he got kidnapped. You can't have two.
I got 17.
17. All right. So,
Nice.
Nox, Fenkin, and Kira, you can only see the shape of Ozla standing in the fire as like a blackened shadow, but you can hear her screaming. And Ozla, your eyes turn white as your vision goes white as well, and you hear the voice again, Dov Hazul Haka Pyre Maul. And the fire in your hands begins to consolidate into something solid. It feels familiar. You can't put your mind on it. After all, the fire around you burns hot. But then the voice speaks again, this time in a language you do understand, in common, with a thick, dwarvish accent. Who is it that thinks they are worthy of Pyre Mole? Fenkin, Nox, Kira, what are you guys doing?
Freaking out, I assume.
To be fair, I have a giant cat on my lap, so I ain't going anywhere.
At this point, like, everyone in the bar has gasped seeing this halfling lit on fire, and everybody's kind of like backing away and panicking. The bear scholar suddenly lumbers up with like a bucket of water, and he throws it over Ozla. But the water evaporates mere feet away from the fire. It's so hot.
Oh, fuck. Great.
Well, that can't be good.
I'd say no.
Speaking of which, are Gesh and Dhuur'in back already, or
no? We're just outside.
Are they still outside?
Yeah. They're just outside, looking at the stars. Well, Ozla burns.
We're hugging.
Ozla's burning.
We can't hear nothing.
I want Fenkin to sort of like try and get up from the floor and get to her and like grab her.
All right, Fenkin, you try to get close to Ozla. You really do. But even before you touch the fire, you can feel its heat. It actually sears your palm where the cat's paw is. And Nilo suddenly jumps off of Kira, kind of yowling out as he shakes his paw.
He's like, Ozla!
Nox grabs Fenkin by the like scruff of his neck, like he's a kitten, and yanks him away and says, "Don't touch her! She's on fire!"
Ozla. And finally, Ozla. As you let out one more scream into the air, unable to move, unable to comprehend the amount of pain that you're in, suddenly there's nothing. There's no pain. You are alone in what appears to be a dark hall. You look around to see only walls of iron lined with stone, etched with golden dwarven runes. You take a step, and your foot echoes all the way down the hall. You take another, and another. Soon you're walking what seems like miles and miles and miles. Finally, you stop. You see an orange glow in the distance. And this time you run towards it. You smell molten steel, smoke, coal. You hear the tinking of a hammer. You hear sparks as they scatter across the floor. You hear metal being warped and shaped. And finally you understand why, for as you make your way towards the orange light, you eventually step into what appears to be an indoor smithy. But standing in the middle is a huge figure. It looks to be a dwarf, if dwarves were 10 feet tall. He looks away from his work as he was hammering something at an anvil. He's got a long brown beard. He wears a crown of gold. And his eyes, they burn like embers of a home fire. He looks down upon you, and he speaks. You, I think, are worthy. And as the vision ends, Ozla, Nox, Fenkin, Kira, you watch as the flames suddenly vanish, as if blown out by a huge gust of wind, just in time for Balthasar to tromp upstairs and whip his head around, asking what's going on. But Ozla stands before you unburned, as if untouched by the fire. And in her hands is the most massive warhammer you have ever seen in your lives. A black haft ending in a huge maul, square in shape and capped off by iron caps that are bolted into place, with the sigil of a fire icon hammered into each side. And Ozla, as you come back to the world of the waking, as you feel the weight in your hands, which almost catches you off guard, you look at the incredibly heavy weapon in your hand, and it speaks to you. You are worthy. Ozla Highhill, please add the Pyre Maul to your inventory.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking hell, Connor.
Who doesn't have a talking weapon at this point?
Me.
Me.
You have Nilo.
He doesn't talk unless I specifically use a spell for an
Oh,
hour.
excuse me for trying to make the story interesting. I can just take all your magical weapons back. You want me to do that? I've got exactly the card I need for that.
Do it, you bitch, you won't. Anyway.
Do it, bitch, you
I
won't!
haven't even used my gun yet.
Yeah, but the gun doesn't talk, so.
Alright, so Ozla,
Kinda does.
No.
you are no longer... You're not injured. You don't feel the pain anymore. But you distinctly remember being on fire for what felt like a full hour almost. What do you do?
Well, as she comes back and she's on the hand, she goes, and then like she realizes where she is, and she just sort of like puts the hammer out in front of her, and she's just staring at it like, oh my fucking god.
As you move,
And she like,
as you move the hammer, there's like a vroom kind of sound. And as you look closer, on the hammer's head, you know how like heat radiates off a grill and makes the images behind it kind of wave? You see that happening all around the hammer.
You gave her a lightsaber.
No, it's not glowing. It's not glowing. It's just making the sound.
It's just making a lightsaber
It's
sound.
just making the sound.
It's not a lightsaber sound. I just don't know how to do sound effects.
Zoom. Zoom.
No, Ozla, I am your father.
oh my god. And she holds it out, she's like staring at it, and then she turns like really quick, and she's like, guys!
She'll still see Nox holding Fenkin like this, just like with her hand on his neck, just like in the middle of pulling him back from touching the on fire person. And she's like, what the hell happened?
On fire, and I this thing in my hands.
What?
You open your mouth to explain again, Ozla.
Fire.
Ozla, you open your mouth to explain again, and suddenly, splash! You're suddenly, like, covered in water. And the water kind of, like, steams up off of Pyremal, leaving it completely dry, but you yourself are soaked. And, like, you open your eyes to, like, the scholarly bear holding a bucket, and he's like, sorry, sorry.
No. I needed that. Thank you. She just slowly like turns Pyremal and like funks him down for a second, just like she's just still like holding it, but she's like, this is bigger than fucking me.
Nox gestures at it and says, where did you get that?
What? Do I look like I know where I got this thing?
Hate that this is even something I have to ask, but did it say anything?
You gotta give me a minute because it did speak to me, but I completely forgot.
I think it just said that she was worthy. I don't really think it said anything else. It said some shit in possibly Dwarvish. Yeah.
I don't know Dwarvish. It's mad to me.
My dad's an asshole because he just texted. He must be able to hear me doing D&D because he just texted me a picture of a bunch of lightsabers.
Right. He knows. He's right.
Yeah, he's right.
Say it.
Right. If you wanted to play a Star Wars campaign, Connor, I'm all for it.
I'd be down for that. But
I am being serious though. I would be okay with the Star Wars campaign.
You get a Warhammer campaign and you like it.
Yeah.
Anyway. Warhammer campaign. I did not have fucking Warhammer. I have 3 fucking Warhammers.
But Ozla, as you're kind of like panicking to your friends, you hear the thump, thump, thump of Balthasar approaching you guys. And he kind of like puts his hand on Kira's shoulder, which makes Kira like bend over a bit.
Just tilt to one side.
And he like scratches his chin. He's like, "Hey, that's different."
Different?
Where'd you get that, little one? I didn't see you carry a hammer in here. Well, I did, but not one that big.
I don't know. Sorry. I was on fire. I got water thrown at me. It's been a day.
He blinks, and then he grins, and then he kind of turns towards everybody in the tavern. He's like, "Now we know a halfling who knows how to party, huh?" And the entire crowd like cheers, and the music starts back up again as like instruments begin to whirl in the air and play. And eventually, Ozla, though strange this all may seem, the Warhammer is no longer hot in your hands, but warm. The same warmth as the Maker's Mace when you first lifted it.
Oh, you're gonna do this to me.
And for a moment, you think back to what Borgub first said. What he wanted to say about traveling with heroes, forging mighty weapons for them so that they might save the world.
Oz, remembering that, she's gonna sigh for a second, and then she's gonna let go of the hammer. But she's gonna reach into her coin purse, and she's gonna take out a single gold coin, put it on the stool where the bard was sat, and she's just gonna whisper under her breath, "Pay it forward."
All right.
Connor, you got that coin!
I will now go down a gold coin for a sad little moment.
All right. So, with that, let's take a 5-minute break.
Okay.
You thought I was going to say that's where we're ending the game, didn't you?
Maybe. But I mean...
listen, we had a short game last week. We ain't doing that again.
Not this short.
Can you imagine? It's literally an hour. Is that we're done today?
I do my makeup for.
I'm gonna leak the lizard real quick. I'm gonna grab something to drink.
Oh my God, Connor.
What?
I just wish that I had access to the members of Congress so that I could put in effect a law that prevents you from ever saying that again.
What?
Don't ever say that to me again.
Would you rather? Do you want me to? Okay, fine. I'll say what I was going to say. I'm going to go downstairs. I'm going to piss my guts out.
Go for it. That's fine. I would rather hear that.
5 minutes.
Finn, you're so bloody quick. I swear to God. You say some things and I'm like, how the fuck?
Oh, I hate it.
God.
I hate this. This is the worst.
was literally that Ozla's just gonna get bitch slapped just like the loot. They got like down. No, she gets a fucking hammer again.
What does that have to do with a key?
What? I looked at the card.
That's what the card was.
Where is it? Where did I put it? Is it? I think it was.
Maybe it's just get cool weapon. I don't know.
Can you imagine? He's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna give her a hammer. Fuck it. I mean,
cool weapon.
I actually looked it up. It's where is it? Key: a rare or rarer magic weapon to which you are proficient appears in your hands.
Oh,
well,
you just made
there you go.
Way more dramatic.
I was gonna say, so the being on fire part wasn't part of it.
Well, it says the DM chooses the weapon, so
that was just for flavor and texture.
Yeah, of course. You gotta add some flavor.
I love the flavor.
I do love the flavor. Immaculate.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah, well, that was going on. Dhuur'in
I wonder what the other two
and
cards
Gesh
were.
are just outside, just standing.
Dhuur'in has not let them go.
He's just holding on.
Yeah, Gesh is just standing there. He's just
been
waiting.
hugging for a solid 20 minutes. It's fine. They'll come in when they're ready.
Someone's gonna have to go get them at some point.
Oh!
Yeah.
What?
Sorry, no, I'm reading I found the ones that I posted, and like the key, like rare or magic weapon. The knight was also there, and that would give you the souls of like a 4th level fighter that you could summon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then the last one, the fate. Reality's fabric unravels and spins anew, allowing you to avoid or erase one event as if it never happened. You can use the card's magic as soon as
As soon as what? You cut out there.
You cut out.
Sorry. The Fate card basically says that you can choose to erase or avoid one event throughout all of time. So you can just get rid of anything you want, and you can only use it once. And I chose the fucking hammer one.
I mean, what event would you want to just ignore? Or
It's a lot of pressure. Because you could choose like something. This is like one event, like ever, like in the whole world.
It says reality's fabric unravels and spins anew, allowing you to avoid or erase one event as if it never happened. You can use the card's magic as soon as you draw the card, or at any other time before you die.
Okay. I mean, it would have to be limited to what the characters experienced.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, could you erase like a I don't know, like a genocide that happened in the past? Because I feel like that's on one end of the spectrum, and then on the other end of the spectrum is like, I wish I didn't stub my toe this morning. Boom. Now my toe's fine.
But yeah, she could go and erase the deaths of all her past crew or something.
Yeah.
And then just completely wreck the timeline.
Erase us ever meeting midnight, and then we can go back in time to that.
Yeah.
And kick his ass.
But instead, I decided to get another Warhammer like I don't fucking
his
do.
bitch ass.
Oh, you always need more Warhammers.
We won't stop until we have at least 20.
Everybody needs a weapon.
No, we won't stop until you've got 40k Warhammers.
Yeah, we don't know where you're gonna put them, but we'll figure that out.
At the end of this campaign, obviously gonna lose limbs, and she's just gonna replace them with hammers, just like swinging around.
Ethan,
walk on hammers.
Ethan, if you don't already have inspiration, take a point of inspiration.
Yay!
What?
Thank you.
Wait, what did he do?
He made a 40k pun.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Alright, I see how it is. Okay. You can just make a good joke out of character.
Yeah, just handing out some inspiration like it's nothing.
Fucking free. I have inspiration that I haven't used,
in this goddamn Discord call.
It's okay, I know I'm the best.
Who's my favorite?
Around.
No one's ever gonna get me down with this.
So you should definitely put on some like tavern music just for ambiance.
It's a good idea.
I want some ambiance.
By the way, Connor, can I ask?
What's up?
Like when she picked the card, was it actually me? Like the one I picked, was that? Did you set that beforehand? Like she was always going to get the Warhammer, or did I actually just pick the card out?
You picked the card out.
Was one of the cards like the one where if she picks it, she gets moved to an interdimensional prison? Because isn't that a card?
Fucking TVA.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my god.
I was wondering what the other two cards were.
Oh, God.
You don't want to know what the other two cards were.
Oh no.
Oh god.
Oh no.
I a little bit want to know.
I do kind of want to know.
Oh, let's
It makes me want to know even more.
Fredwood's finally. Fuck
Yeah, we need some tavern music.
He's here.
Need some ambiance.
All right.
Alright.
So, are we all back?
Maybe. Did any of us ever leave?
I was gonna say, I don't think most of us didn't leave.
Just you, Boo Boo.
All right. So, picking up where we left off, from Nox's, Fenkin's, and Kira's perspective, Ozla seems to have just kind of manifested a hammer after bursting into flames.
You know, as you do.
Yeah, you know. It's normal.
But that is not the strangest thing you've seen in the Feywild, let's be completely honest. You saw a centaur with a baby for a head.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, centaur baby head. I forgot that. I blocked that out of my mind.
Talking stone, talking tree, dead stones.
Yeah, you'd know intimately about that, wouldn't you, Gesh? Dead stones.
Well, I mean, just the one dead stone. He hasn't upped his kill count yet. So
He had a wife and family somewhere. Pebbles.
So
I assume this is when Dhuur'in and Gesh finally walk back in.
So
if
as
they
Ozla,
ever walk back in.
So as Ozla joins Nox, Fenkin, and Kira back at the table while the bar kind of goes back to normal, anybody want to say anything? I'm opening it up to roleplay.
Well, I'm saying first off, Kira slapped Balthasar's hand away and said, "I'm not an armrest."
He didn't feel it.
Fenkin rushes over to Ozla and is just like drunkenly patting her all over, like accidentally slapping her face a couple of times as he tries to make sure that she's okay.
He does that. She's like, hey, and smacks him back. But yeah, she sits down and she starts making away from her. She sort of leans forwards, like on her hands. And it said I was worthy. I don't know what the fuck that means.
Worthy?
Worthy. I didn't fuck. Hello.
I didn't know you were wearing glasses on your head. It literally just looked like glasses fell out of the sky.
Can you imagine God just dropped?
Oh my god.
Yeah, when God said glasses.
God said, "This bitch blind. See."
Yeah, she goes, I have no clue what the fuck worthy means, but it said something else and I don't know what it meant.
I heard you talking to someone before. Who was that?
Some really, like, pasty white guy with, like, a beard and... You're gonna burn me. I'm gonna roast you.
Wait. I have a visitor. I have a guest.
Is it Joe?
Kitty cat!
Girl. Hey, sweet little girl. Show me your little face. Your little one-eyed face. Hello, baby.
I want to point out to everybody watching at home, Nox only has one eye because of Finn's cat.
Because of this cat. Yes.
You can see the black eye.
She has her other eye, but it just doesn't. So she keeps it covered. Okay, sorry. Continue.
She's like a walking redundancy.
What?
Wow.
She's missing one eye, but the eye that is there just doesn't work.
Oh, this one? Yeah. She has an eye, it's useless. It's just shit eye.
God bless her.
Sweet.
Brilliant, outstanding.
Sweet baby kitty.
Yeah, I was just like starts to describe him, and she's like, he played a fucking lute of all things. I don't know who plays lutes anymore.
Most bards. Okay, that's not... Okay, so he was a bard, and you spoke to him, and where did he go?
I don't know. He told me to pick a card. I picked a card. I got some key, and then he burst into flames, and then I burst into flames.
Nox whaps her on the arm like a parent disciplining a child, and says, "We are in the land of the Fae. You do not need to be playing card games with strangers." Ozla.
It's not my fault you had a nice voice.
Something far worse could have happened, is my point. If something very bad did happen, you were on fire in front of everybody.
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Well, you have a weapon that can speak to you, which in our party is sometimes a good thing and sometimes a very bad thing. So we can't say definitively yet that you are okay. For all we know, you have just been given a death warrant with that weapon that you have now.
It's kind of becoming a thing with us, isn't it?
Kiro's back to
It already
tinkering.
is. It already
He's back to
is.
tinkering with his gauntlet, and he just kind of looks up. He's like, "Do you guys have a lot of experience with talking weapons?"
Apparently, yes.
Well, glad to see you're not on fire anymore, at least.
Yes. But yeah, Nox has a talking sword. Fenkin, when he's not piss drunk, can apparently talk to Nyla when he wants to. And doesn't Dhuur'in have some talking kind of thing?
Yes, he picked up an evil demon sword and just decided to carry it with him.
Oh, I want to see the demon sword. Can I see the demon sword?
No. It is bad enough that he is carrying it around. You do not have to touch it.
Demon sword.
No, come on. He can't keep hold of himself. Come on.
Yes, he can. He shouldn't even have it.
I concur, oh better mind.
Thank you. She says to nobody. Oh, that reminds me. I do want to point from last session. She did get her sword out of the ceiling. She would not have left her to the roads. So she did get her sword out of the ceiling.
I'm just then he's like, "Come get me, oh bear of mine."
I'm just imagining everybody's down in the workshop and Courage of the Rose is hanging from the ceiling like, everyone, guys.
You just saw Nox like jumping up, just like swatting, trying to knock it down.
Trying to get one claw in the little hilt, like.
Yeah, just.
It's at this time that Dhuur'in and Gesh have decided to make their way back into the tavern. And Dhuur'in, both Dhuur'in and Gesh, as you do, you guys make your way. You spot your team over by the table that you left them at, and you see that there's a new weapon lying on the table.
I walked in after Gesh, and I stayed a good distance behind him. I walked up to the table. I kind of just plopped down in a chair, really like unceremoniously, and looked at the weapon. And I looked at Ozla, because I knew that there's nobody else in the party that would wield a weapon like that. And I just kind of like point at it.
Oh, I was on fire for that.
Oh.
Oof. That's rough, buddy. Are you guys okay? Dhuur'in?
Say again?
I just went.
Oh, okay.
That cut out again for me.
I made a different noise.
Okay.
Non-committal noise.
I was sort of like looks between the two of them. And she can like feel the tension that's still left. And she's like, okay. Does anyone want anything to eat?
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, she just, ask the other two, does anyone want anything to eat?
Yes.
What do you want?
I don't care.
Gesh, are you hungry, mate?
No, not particularly.
Okay. Okay. We'll wait
Can cut this tension with a knife.
Thank you, Kira.
So I'm just gonna go back to. Just goes back to tinkering. I'm not gonna get involved in this. Food should be out shortly, hopefully.
Yeah, Gesh sort of twirls the key he was given in his hand before just putting a hand down on the table and leaning in. I'm going to go check in on my room. I'll see you all later. And then he walks off.
Bye, mate.
Try not to get lost.
Fenkin just gurgles like, why?
Alright, so Gesh, as you leave the table, the conversation that you had with Dhuur'in still kind of like whirling around in your mind. You make your way towards somewhere. There's not really an upstairs to this tavern. At least, not one that you seem to have found that houses any rooms that you can stay in. You do go up a flight of stairs only to find that it's kind of like just an attic for storage. And then you try some more rooms. One is a closet, one seems to be a boiler room of sorts. You open one door, and a dwarf with a newspaper kind of like looks up while he's sitting on the toilet, and he says, it's occupied.
Right. Just immediately.
Alright. So it doesn't seem like there's any actual rooms here.
Time to find that big blue idiot. And then he walks off to try and find Balthasar.
Alright.
Of course.
Yes, you're also a big blue idiot. Don't forget.
Yeah, but you know, I don't live in a moving house, so.
True.
So
They're called caravans, and do not discriminate against them.
So as you're wandering the halls, Gesh, you're not able to find Balthasar, but another hulking figure kind of turns the corner that you almost bump into, and you recognize what seems to be a large grizzly bear dressed in scholarly robes with a pair of glasses on the very brim of his nose. And under one arm, he's carrying a stack of books, and he says, "Oh, my apologies. Sorry, I have to watch where I'm going. Vision's going a bit these days."
Right.
Are you lost? Can I offer some assistance?
You wouldn't happen to know where any rooms to sleep in are?
Oh, absolutely. The question is very simple to answer. Well, a bit complex. The correct answer is
just give me the short version before you go off, please.
The short version is yes and no. Were you given a key?
Yes.
Oh, excellent. Then just any door will do. Let me show you. And he kind of ruffles around with a big giant bear paw in his robes before producing his own key, which seems to be like a gold normal looking house key. And he kind of like waddles over to the door that had the dwarf in it using the bathroom. And you watch as he plugs the key into the lock and turns it. And once he pulls it out, he puts it away and pats his robes and he says, "Now watch." And he pulls the door open. Inside is a library. A massive, massive library. There's a chalkboard kind of in the center of the room, and right in front of the chalkboard seems to be a large, bear-sized bed with plenty of sheets and pillows for use for sleeping. Besides that, there's a coffee table with 3 bowls of steaming porridge next to it. And all surrounding this entire bedroom are just shelves upon shelves of books and things. And the bear kind of nods and he says, This is my room. Your room can be accessed from any door within the Titan's Toe. I've been staying here for quite a while.
Do you need that much porridge?
I like porridge.
Don't you judge this bear.
He's a big guy.
Kind man.
Right. Well, then, I'll, get to it then. Goodbye.
Excellent. I bid you good night. And he closes the door, and you hear the lock click as he steps inside, kind of like ducking under the human-sized door to get inside.
Magic. Damn, magic. And then he gets out his key, puts it into the same door, turns it to, click it open and stoof. And then pulls it back out and then opens it to see if it's his room, I guess.
Alright. So, Gesh, as soon as you open the door, there's a warm breeze that pushes through the door and glides across your scales. Because as you step into your room appears to be an open-air dojo of sorts. There's 4 columns on a wooden platform, about 60 feet by 60 feet across, made of red, polished, lacquered wood. In the very center of the room, on top of a seal of a sleeping dragon coiling in on itself, there's a bed, a large-sized bed for you, made to your comforts and specifications. Overhead, you can see the lattice work of kind of like the temple roof, and all around you there's just clear blue sky, as you realize from both the thinness of the air and the slight cold that you are on a mountaintop.
Is there an extra pillow in that bed?
It's just he walks in. He's just taking all this in, just sort of blown away, and then closes the door behind him. And
when the door closes, you see that the door was actually like built into one of the red columns that holds the roof up. And as soon as that door clicks close, you hear another click, and thoom, 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 thoom. 4 training dummies on either end of the dojo shoot up, each one holding a weapon and seeming completely stationary.
So I can have fun in this place.
All right, and we fade to black. So, eventually, I forgot the name I gave her. Hey, Vinn.
Kira?
Kira is not a her. He's got a dick.
Shinara?
Shinara.
Shinara. Okay.
Shinara.
So back at the table, Shinara eventually comes back with plates of food on her arm. She's actually carrying a lot more than a woman her size should be able to. And she says, "All right, dearies, we've got some dinner for you." And she starts putting out plates, and there is all sorts of wonderful food on the table. There's an entire roast pig that's set down on the center of the table in a bed of lettuce and tomatoes and things. There's freshly boiled lobster on a plate. Nox. She puts down a plate that seems to be just like a bacchanalia of specially prepared cheeses, each one with toothpicks kind of like placed into them for posterity's sake. And she
doesn't need those. It's very polite of her to do, but not necessary.
She eats the toothpicks.
Shinara disappears around the corner and then comes back with what appears to be a huge barrel over her head, carrying it like it's nothing. And she, boom, sets it down right next to you, Ozla. And she says, I couldn't find any Shimmer Stout, but this is probably the best beer that we can find in the Feywild. Balthasar makes it.
I will take anything you give me right now. I really need a drink.
She also places a mug of water in front of Fenkin, along with what appears to be a salad with bits of chicken inside. And while she's serving you, Balthasar kind of looms in over you guys, stepping up to her, placing his hands on his shoulder, and she's like, "Ah, yes, you sample my wife's cooking, yeah! It is what makes me big and strong." And she kind of like looks up at him, giving him like the OU kind of hand wave.
Did Nox get her 10 fingers of vodka?
Oh, yes. Shannara goes, "Oh, wait a minute, dear," and she places her hand where his chest would be, but really it's just like his stomach. So she kind of like pushes him aside and runs off to the bar, and then comes back with just this huge tankard of a clear white liquid, which she sets down before you. Now, Nox, you've had regular vodka before. This makes your whiskers curl just by smelling it.
Nox is just like...
Constitution saving.
Really?
This is Feywild vodka you're drinking.
Yeah, okay.
Titan's Toe Tap.
I actually drank that coffee really dramatically, and it hurts.
I was like, that was not like an empty cup.
No, it wasn't.
Heroes of the universe, you guys.
See, this is why you should only drink water. Come on.
Did it for the bit. What's my constitution? Okay. Well, that's not the best.
You can do it, Nox. We believe in you.
I've said that. We'll see.
You know, unless you fail, which in that case we never believed in you.
That's fine, you know.
In case you fail, so we never believed in you.
18.
18. Okay, so, Nox, again, you've had vodka before, and vodka usually burns on the way down. This is like drinking molten lead, almost.
This burns on the way in.
It burns on the way in, yeah. And, like, you immediately feel your belly warm up, and you're already, like, a little tipsy. And Shannara...
Yeah, she like, literally, like, puts the drink down, and she's like...
Princess, who's been sitting next to you, kind of tilts his head, and he's like, all right, give us some. Let me have a taste.
You will die. No. And anyway, I'm not interested in whatever rabies you have transmitted from your spit. No.
I don't have rabies. Also, don't tell her I don't have rabies.
She probably has rabies too.
It's not rabies, it's scurvy.
Wow. Okay.
Don't be mean, Nox.
Shannara does eventually come by with like a small little thimble of vodka, and Princess takes it and he sniffs it, and oh fuck me! And you watch as Princess just like hits the table, rolls over, and just sunk to the ground.
Oh,
I felt that.
Poor baby.
And this is how Princess dies. So.
Alright, death saving throw.
She did a fucking kill saving throw.
In her other hand, Shannara has what appears to be like this cut of meat that's still on the bone, with bits of bone sticking out on the other side. It's steaming up, and it's still like nice and red in the middle, just sweating, glistening juice, like a meaty jewel in the glint of the starlight. And she places that in front of you, Ozla.
A woman after my own heart. She knows exactly what I want. But now I'm thinking, like, we said we weren't going to eat anything at the Feywilds, but... Ah, fuck it. She
cares.
Needs it, yeah.
You're got a burning hammer, so why not?
She just grabs it with both hands,
The first bite, you get the outside has kind of like this dusted rub of spices and herbs, so it's that explosion of flavor as soon as that hits your tongue. But then you bite down on the meat, and the juice comes spraying out to fill the rest of your mouth, and it's just this perfect savory like taste that kind of permeates both the saltiness and the pepper. It's good.
She's got a mouthful and she's like, oh! Mmm. God, does anyone else want this? Fen, do you want some? This might make you feel better. It makes me feel better.
That's disgusting.
You...
Stop being a fucking spoil sport and eat the goddamn meat.
Hey, lady.
Yes,
You
dear.
over there.
Yes, dear.
1, 2. How come you fed 2 of the cats?
2 of the cats? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Does your panther want anything?
Nilo? You want anything?
Nilo's kind of like pawing Princess's body with his hands, like rolling him over. And he kind of like looks up like...
I'll take that as a yes. Yeah, he wants something.
I think I have just the thing. I'll go get it. And she, and before she can, she lets out kind of like a yelp as Balthasar's hands pick her up by the waist, and he like spins her in the air. And she's like, ha ha ha! My wife, she is miracle worker. Ha 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 ha!
Aww.
That's so cute.
I'm gonna cry.
I sigh really loud.
Dhuur'in's like, my love life is tattered.
Is it just me, or is he like more depressed than usual?
I am not depressed.
As soon as you say that,
Insight check.
Dhuur'in, voice in the back of your head. I also hunger.
Oh my god.
Feed me.
I ignore it.
Feed me, Seymour, feed me.
Like a minute passes, and Craven Edge says again, "Feed me." Another minute. Feed me. Another minute. Stop ignoring me.
I will not. Shut up.
You will not want.
Hey, you shut up!
There's
I wasn't talking to you.
There's a long pause, and then finally, asshole. And then Craven Edge is silent.
Fuck you. No, wait, I said that in Undercommon. Vistos!
Vistos. Sorry, that was just a friend.
Alright. So, as the music plays into the din of the night, as you enjoy this wonderfully prepared meal, we're going to take a break.
Yay!
Be back in part 2 to see everybody's rooms. Part 2.
Yay!
Well, everybody else's rooms.
Hira just sleeps in his workshop.
Episode.
He doesn't have a room. He just sleeps on a table.
Just like
Cuddling a gauntlet that he's working on.
I was gonna say that or a Balthasar body pillow.
Yes. He made it himself.
The one that cares about me.
Just Balthasar
Until
walks
we
in.
find out that he's married.
Balthasar walks in at one point like, Hira, I brought you some soup! I come back later. And he just turns around and leaves. Alright, we'll be back in 10 minutes.